The Fishing Paper Show is proudly brought to you by United Fisheries, bringing fresh fish to your plate.
Scallops would have to be my favourite shellfish, and here's a simple little recipe that accentuates the subtle flavours of the scallop. Pan-seared scallops with a lemon and caper mayonnaise. Now the essential ingredients for this dish are cooking oil, lemon juice, salt, butter, mustard, red onion, a couple of egg yolks, capers, capsicum, pine nuts and a hint of cayenne pepper. First up, the mayonnaise. Into a bowl I'm going to add a pinch of cayenne pepper, about a teaspoon of mustard, some lemon juice or lime juice, looking for about a tablespoon, and a pinch of salt and a couple of egg yolks. Okay, the secret to making a mayonnaise is in the oil. Now we're drizzling in oil a little bit at a time, a drop at a time, so it won't separate. After we put about a third of the oil in, then you can pour it in freely. We're looking at about a cup to a cup and a half. And now that that's all blended to a nice creamy consistency, we can add the capers at the end and fold those in. Now we'll let that mayonnaise stand for a bit just to let those flavours infuse, and while that's happening I'm going to pan-sear the scallops. While those are draining, add to the pan our chopped red onion, to those pine nuts, some red capsicum, and just as those are softening down, I just add about 25 grams of butter to finish the sauce off. It's as simple as that. We're almost done. Now it just comes to plating up and tucking in. Sprinkle over a bit of our capsicum and onion sauce, and just to finish it off we can drizzle on some of the lemon and caper mayonnaise that we made earlier. Now what could be simpler than that? Pan-seared scallops with a light lemon and caper mayonnaise. No, it was good. Seriously good. No, seriously, that was good.
Very tasty indeed, but check out that beard. Now, that film segment was actually filmed when I was a lot older, so work that one out. Right, now it's time to show us your tackle, Doug. You weren't expecting that, were you? Kayak fishing. Now it's all right, stay in your chair. Kayak fishing, you've formed the Canterbury Kayak Fishing Club, is it?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I'm the president of the club. We started approximately 18 months ago, just coming up to 2 years.
So tell me, with kayak fishing, I know it's a rapidly growing sport. What comes first, interest in the kayak or interest in fishing?
I think for our club members it's interested in fishing,
yeah,
and then they've looked at other ways of how they can get out there at a lower cost, and kayak fishing is fantastic for that.
So that's a prime motivator, is the cost getting out on the water, obviously, to purchase the boats up there in the big time. We've got this Mission kayak here, courtesy of Smith City. It came from Smith City in Christchurch. What are you looking for in equipping yourself for a kayak that's suitable for fishing?
What we've done here, this is a good friend of club members, Craig's Kayak. You start off with your basic kayak and you work on what suits you the best.
Okay.
So a lot of here, Craig has actually added on to his kayak, so he can use a bait board, and that's adjustable. You can slide it back to him, so basically it's right over his lap. You'd start off with a kayak, whether it's second hand or you go and buy a brand new one. Then you put your main lines on so that you know, for safety, and then away you go, fishing rod.
This is a Catch 390, Mission Kayak Catch 390, sold at Smith City. Now, are these purposely designed for fishing?
This one is.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. This one here has got a tube holder. You can put your rod, so your rod will actually slide down inside, which is just down on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
You've got a battery holder in the back there, so if you want to put a fish finder on later on, run an iPod, anything, you can use them. Great for starting out with younger family members.
So they got the whole mod cons on these?
This one has.
Flush toilet?
Not quite. We don't want to see when he flushes the toilet.
No. You have to hold on while you're out there.
Well, yeah, sort of.
So with these sort of things, are they predominantly for sea fishing?
No, look, you can use not only the ocean, you can use them on the lakes, and we've got 2 sections in our club. So we've got freshwater fishermen and the saltwater. Now I do both, so I fly fish from the kayak. It's just a way of getting out there where you can go to water that you can only look at from the shore.
Okay.
You can cross over to a river from one side of a lake.
Okay, that's one motivating factor, but what is it about kayak fishing? There must be something else. What is it about kayak fishing other than the affordability that makes it so popular?
I think it's because we don't have to travel as far. It's at our back doorstep, basically. Yeah. We can go out around any rock structure and get in as close over the shallower reefs.
So that would give you some advantages to people on big boats, for example?
Exactly.
There's a saying in New Zealand, or actually worldwide, that fishermen should fish their feet first. In other words, people often roar off way out to the big blue yonder and miss the closest fishing spots. Is this something that you've noticed with your kayak fishing?
Yes, it is. And it's also, we've actually realised there's fish, because Canterbury around here, it's a predominantly sand-based, we've actually found where the fish are holding now. We realised that, you know, to come in closer, to the coastline.
I noticed that they're kitted out to have fish finders, so you're going to share any GPS coordinates with us about where these fish actually are?
Oh, of course.
You will?
Yeah, we always do. We always give away our top spots.
Look, I've got to try it out. This is set out for Craig. Okay, and I've never actually been in a kayak before. So is it something that I have to have a high skill level, or being a beginner I could actually do it?
Well, you've done the first correct thing. You haven't fallen out hopping in. Yeah. And I know it's not on the water, but you would saw it rock. That's all that's going to happen when you hop on your kayak. You would sit in first and swing your feet over.
Okay. Now this one's pretty well kitted out. It's got your fish finder already on there, and it's got communication devices. Is that important?
It's very important to have communication. If you're just going
get to it.
I think it just clips on.
Oh yeah, well I'm a technological bunny.
Might just pull up there actually.
Yeah, it does.
Does it? Yeah.
We won't go there.
We don't need to call the Coast Guard.
No.
Most important thing, if you're going to buy a kayak, don't just get on it and go out there on your own. With our club, we've always compulsory, you must fish in pairs. You've got to remember you're on the water, you've got to look at safety first. So a cell phone and support with a VHF, but a cell phone and let people know where you're going. It's as simple as that.
Okay, so your club advocates the safety side of it. So talk me through the safety aspects on the water when you actually get up, catch a fish. Some of the species out there, like kingfish, are quite big. We have sharks off the coast. Is it a safe style of fishing?
Yes.
I have visions, sorry to interrupt, but I have visions of me hooking up on a big kingy and disappearing over to Argentina.
Enjoy the ride. And it's a cheap way of getting there.
It would be.
No, look, the simple thing is we anchor, most of us will anchor on the left.
Yep.
We fish on the right. Okay, the anchoring is so you're away from your anchor lines. Fish the right, you use your rod to lead you with the fish. So in other words, if the fish is heading off and wants to go this way, then you're using your rod and you're actually using your thigh and you're turning your kayak. So you let the rod do it all. You unclip. If it's a kingy, something like that, unclip from the anchor and just use your kayak to actually help slow it down. So you can actually put sideways pressure and pull them up.
A float on your anchor, so you can obviously go back and find it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I notice Craig's got 2 or 3 rods set up here. Is that common practice to take out several rods at a time?
Yes. What you want to do is, especially like if we hit the sounds, you got your kingfish, so you're using a larger reel. You need a good 50, 60 pound line on that at minimum. You want to do some snapper fishing or something a bit lighter, you need your other rod. So you don't want to be swapping reels over, swap over rods. And what we do is we also clip the rods on so that, hey, you might see somebody and put your rod down and it's all of a sudden it's come off your lap. At least it's tied on.
Thanks, Doug. And now it's time to go to our viewers' pick of the week. And here's a sizzling salmon caught by Kevin Duncan from Kaikoura, caught in the waves recently. The salmon are on the move, so if you're a salmon fisherman, get ready. The action's about to hot up. All right, it's come to the end of the show, that time where we must leave you. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, Doug, for coming along. And if people, if they're keen on getting into some kayak fishing, they can get hold of the club.
Most definitely.
And once again, Barnsley, thanks for being here.
Yep, pleasure. Yep, nice to be here.
All right, coming up on next week's show, have you heard of grilling flounder? Grilling flounder? Sounds like a recipe. Well, it's not. Steve Terry joins us again next week. More of that, so we'll catch you then. The Fishing Paper Show is proudly brought to you by United Fisheries Limited.